So in today's episode of Our System is Totally Rotten and all of our media, politicians, and institutions are totally corrupt, let's have a little chat about Bob Menendez and his new indictment. His second indictment, by the way. He's been indicted before. In a 39-page indictment, the New Jersey Democrat and chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee is accused of accepting bribes that include a luxury car, expensive exercise machines, mortgage payment, bars of gold bullion. I can't believe that's still a thing. And more than $500,000 in cash. In exchange for the bribes, Mr. Menendez wielded his power to increase U.S. assistance to Egypt and do favors for New Jersey businessmen, prosecutors said. The thing that I can't get over when I was reading the indictment, besides the fact that it was so 80s in its classic corruption, was that, I need you guys to think about it this way. Our system is so corrupt that we have essentially legalized bribery in this country under the guise of the First Amendment. So you gotta be some over-the-top fucking goofy-ass criminal in order to get indicted in this country. That's what I'm trying to drive home here. It is so hard to get indicted in this country if you are a rich and powerful person. You gotta be sloppy as hell. Think about the corruption that's going on right now with Clarence Thomas, right? His billionaire benefactors. Clarence Thomas has engaged in so much fucking corruption that it's hard to fathom. It's hard to wrap your mind around the amount of corruption that he's engaged in, has been engaged in for years. But his is so much more stealthy. It's more on the DL, more secretive. It's shrouded in dark money. It's hidden and weaved under the guise of nonprofits. It's just a lot better hidden. You know what I'm saying? This shit is hey, I'm gonna do a corruption and break the law brazenly. And then, of course, he's refusing to step down. Because we have no ethics in this country. None. We're oh yeah, he's corrupt as fuck. He doesn't have to step down, that's fine. People aren't even asking him to step down. You know who the only senator was that said that he should step down? John Fetterman. Yeah, that's right. John fucking Carhart's Fetterman. The one who's been taking all this shit this week because he wasn't wearing a suit to the Senate. As if these people are acting so worthy of our respect. None of the Democrats besides John Fetterman has said that he should step down, that he should resign. Dick Durbin, I'm a very serious person on the Judiciary Committee, Durbin. He's always hoping. He's always looking closely. That's how you know that when Democrats say something, they're never going to do anything, because they always are hoping. Something will get asked that's really over. Hey, don't you think that Clarence Thomas should come and sit before you guys and talk to you about all the bribes he's been taking? And Dick Durbin will be I'm very concerned. I hope he does the right thing. They're always hoping. Yeah, it's not like you're the chair of the judiciary or anything and you could, compel him to testify. So you won't be surprised to learn that when Durbin found out that all this stuff was happening with Menendez, he said, well, I don't know. Everybody's entitled to the presumption of innocence and we'll have to see. You know what? No. Everybody is entitled to the presumption of innocence in court, okay? He'll get his day in court. But he's not entitled to be a senator. He's not entitled to sit on the Foreign Affairs Committee, especially after he's being accused of doing fucking pay-for-play bribes with foreign governments. But tell me again how it's the workers that are entitled? I will remind you that Al Franken was driven out. He was told to resign, he was called to resign, and he fucking skedaddled. He didn't... Where was Dick Durbin and Kirsten Gillibrand when this was happening? Oh, he is entitled to the presumption of innocence. No. They wanted to get rid of Al Franken because this was during the Me Too height, and Kirsten Gillibrand wanted to run for president. And so they were trying to make an example of him, which is why they got rid of him, because he was political liability. They wanted to have credibility on the issue. Which begs the question, why are you so okay with this guy who is being accused of serious corruption crimes? Why are you okay with him just sitting there and making the Democrats look really bad? It's almost like you don't mind and you don't care because maybe there are other people in your caucus that are doing similar things. Maybe. We know that's why the Republicans aren't saying anything, right? Think about it. Doesn't anyone else find it sus as fuck that the Republicans are not screaming about this? They love any opportunity to try to create conspiracy theories and corruption around Democrats. They can't shut up about Hunter Biden's dick pics. They can't shut up about made-up stories about Joe Biden's alleged corruption that they don't have any evidence for. They're starting an impeachment over it. But here you got Bob Menendez with like gold bars and cash coming out of his pockets, literally, being accused of some serious fucking foreign corruption crimes. And nary a peep from any elected Republicans. Kind of makes you wonder that maybe the reason why they're not saying anything is because maybe Bob Menendez is not the only person engaging in that type of activity. Anybody who's read the indictment, they're like, oh shit, this is... Someone somewhere is being like, geez, Bob, why'd you have to be so obvious? Now even Democrats in New Jersey are calling on him to resign. He came out with a statement, very defiant, you know. Let's go to Bob Menendez's statement, see what he has to say about all this. In response to the indictment, Menendez said, I intend to continue to fight for the people of New Jersey with the same success I have for the past 5 decades. Okay, there's a problem right there. Why have you been there for 5 decades? What have you done? Like fighting for the people of New Jersey. I'm just fighting for you. Get the fuck out of here. You haven't been fighting for them. You've been fighting for yourself. You've been lining your own pockets. If that wasn't enough, then he went on to say that the real reason why he's getting indicted is because he's Latino. Quote, it's not lost on me how quickly some are rushing to judge a Latino and push him out of his seat. I'm not going anywhere, he said. No, you did not. No, you did. I know you did not just use your Latino heritage as some type of excuse for your obvious Scrooge McDuck levels of corruption. But he's right. He is historic. He's the first sitting senator to be indicted twice on 2 unrelated criminal cases. That is impressive, Bob. I mean, the nerve. This bitch has been taking in millions and millions of dollars for all of his different connections all over the world and in this country. Not doing shit for his own constituents and getting richer and richer and richer off of his position of public trust. And then when he gets caught for the second time being involved in a bribery scheme because we don't learn things the first time, all of a sudden it's, how could you? Oh, it's not lost on me that you're targeting a Latino. A really rich one, like a really, really, really rich one with a ton of power and sitting on one of the most important committees in the Senate, but nonetheless. All right, Bob, but I think you might have a little bit of a hard time trying to make the jello stick to that wall. When this is the prosecutor, the first Black prosecutor to lead a state office in 232 years. Now that's historic. And I hope they get his ass. Oh, allegedly. I allegedly hope that they allegedly get his ass. Because I am so tired of these bitches. I am so tired of the symbiotic relationship between the corporations, oligarchs, dark money billionaires, media, government, and then it all just kind of melts into one pool of slop. To just give you a sense of how fucking unserious our government is, our Congress is, our Senate, all of our institutions, how unserious they are. You'll remember 46 senators, Republicans, with the exception of this dino, wrote a letter asking that the Senate dress code be reinstated because of Fetterman. Let that sink in for a second. None of them have called on Menendez to resign. None of them have called on Sam Alito or Clarence Thomas to resign, or even to be questioned. But they all had time to write a letter about the Senate dress code. Yeah, that tracks. Because that's how fucking unserious this entire thing is.